I sometimes think about how lucky I am to be here, in China, living in this beautiful city, surrounded by so much nature and greenery. It's incredible to know that I had a dream to move to China, to live here and work, and it came true. This time-lapse was taken from our first apartment here in Suzhou. I feel like it is symbolic of the feelings and thoughts that I've experienced countless times throughout my life. Thoughts of self-doubt, fears, or unrealised potential. But as I look at this moving view, standing back and observing, I can appreciate the beauty of the scene, but also how representational it is. It is symbolic in the sense of thoughts being like clouds. The clouds don't really have a lasting effect in the sky, and they come and go as they please. A few years back, I decided that I should observe my thinking and become more aware of how I could control and manage my thoughts, to realise when a thought does serve my purpose, so that I could concentrate on things that were actually important in my life. I'm talking about thoughts because even though they may be swirling around in my head, sometimes they can be all-consuming. Once I managed to control my thoughts by bringing attention to them, I realised that the thoughts were no longer a problem. I focused on things that were more productive, and in turn, I began to develop more awareness of the present moment, to see all the amazing things that are around me as they are happening, right there and then. I know I'm not going to be living here for that much longer, and that's what makes me appreciate this place so much more. I still have time to enjoy where we live. It's things like these pomegranate trees that are dotted all around the compound. I just love the vibrant orange that just jumps out. I love nature, and it's the trees that they have planted here that are so nice, like these mature Chinese magnolias. I love these evergreen trees. The big white flowers are so stunning. They remind me of coconut flavoured ice cream because of the bright white colour of the petals. And the shades of colour on leaves when the sun shines through them really appeals to me. I like how the younger leaves are more yellow in colour, whereas the older leaves have a deeper green. Walking along here, you can see how the plants are laid out and structured. There are different levels and heights of plants, from grasses, medium-sized shrubs, small trees to taller mature trees. There is a good variety of plants that keep the environment interesting and varied. And over here, you have all these small pink flowers on the ground that can cover the entire floor when they're in full bloom. Walking around the compound, I can see that a lot of people take pride in growing their own plants. This rose bush, for example, produces an abundance of pink roses each year. The aesthetic design decisions made in China can seem a little out of place sometimes. For example, it's not uncommon to see Roman-inspired architecture in various places. I think this staircase is in reference to that. You see this Romanesque architecture theme throughout the compound, which is characterised by the use of arches, domes, fountains, and statues dotted around the communal areas. I love seeing this, food being dried outside, just like they do in rural areas. People continue using these traditional practices in urban areas, which I find comforting because 1, they're continuing their cultural tradition, and 2, people respect other people's stuff because they leave it alone, which is great. Look at these trees, they are perfect together. Almost reminds me of the heart-shaped tree we saw in Fuzhou. So beautiful. In these traditional looking ornamental containers, the ground staff change the plants on a regular basis. They always have a variety of plants in these pots. Also, sometimes people will plant their own plants in there. I think people do that when they move or when they can't take care of the plants anymore. In this corner I had a kumquat tree that I had grown from seed. I tried to give it away for free but no one wanted it, so I planted it here in June 2023. I kept an eye out to see if it would survive, and it lasted just under a year, till April 2024. The ground staff installed an electric wire and they had to clear the space where I'd put my plant. And as you can see, it's no longer here. Moving on, here's a nice feature, and it's quite unique. It's another place for the community to relax and enjoy. The tall, thin trees envelop the space, creating a cozy atmosphere. This is an updated version of the renovations that took place in 2024. there are more benches to sit on and the floor has been completely relaid, with a nice design underneath the dome. The other thing that this compound does really well is providing communal spaces for all ages. There is ample seating areas and benches, but also the children's play area with a climbing frame that has multiple slides and swings. It is literally used every day, and this is a popular place to hang out in the evening, especially for families with young children. To the right, there is a gorgeous Gingko tree that has the most beautiful yellow leaves in the autumn. In some parts of China, people collect the seeds of the fruit and boil them with meat. Apparently, it complements the savoury flavours of the meat and provides a unique texture and taste. More pomegranate trees. One of these trees has dappled cream and orange patterns on the flowers. They are so beautiful. The wonderful thing is that these trees in the compound bear fruit, but for some reason nobody seems to take the pomegranates. A little further up to the left is another gated community. You can see as I walk around how this environment has been designed to cater for the residents and create an atmosphere of peace and tranquility. The environment is made for people to enjoy. There are 3 ways to get into the compound. This is one of the north gate entrances. I think it's gate number 3. Here is another viewing deck. On the opposite side you can see a bridge. I've never been on that bridge because I can't access it because I don't live in that part of the compound. But you can relax and admire the water lily flowers and the fish as they swim by. There's also terrapins that live here as well. Another reason why I love this compound is because there is a good amount of space to walk around. This bit always reminds me of when we had to go through COVID screening and all the residents had to line up at 3 different meeting points and wait to get swabbed just to check that no one was infected. In the initial stages we had to queue up for 3 to 4 hours in line. It was a surreal situation looking back at it. But going back to the feeling of ambience of this place, I feel so good when I see the effect of dappled light coming through the leaves onto the ground. It just looks so good. Even though it's a hot day, you do feel slightly cooler under the trees as opposed to when you're walking directly under the sun. That booth you see over there is where everyone had to line up and get tested. And so we are approaching the main gate of the compound, gate 1, which faces north. I've just done a loop and come back through gate number 3, which is also on the same side of the main gate but further up. Just look how beautiful the sky is. This is where I enter vlog mode. Doesn't it look amazing? Isn't this tree amazing? And underneath us is a car park. These glass things that you see, they go down into the car park. This is a magnolia, this one up here. Hey, I'm back again. So, I'm walking back to our apartment and I want to go back to the main point, which is mindset and gratitude. Just by looking around and seeing how beautiful this place is, shows how easy it was for me to develop a thankful attitude. This quote reflects the idea that our thoughts and intentions shape the reality we experience, and how our perception and actions influence the world around us. This experience has shown me that life is to be embraced. When I'm walking through this compound, I'm shown the beauty of life through the trees, the flowers, the animals. Life is abundant here. We live alongside living things, not just concrete buildings. This is a good example. Look at these cats, a mother and a kitten chilling on the side of the bank. Like, how beautiful is that? Earlier this year, when my family came, we saw a bunch of tadpoles for the first time in ages. I've also seen white little egrets fish in this moat and a couple of kingfishers, which totally blew my mind. It's like a wildlife haven. This is the pier I like to stand from. It's such a lovely spot to relax and take in the view. They used to drain the water here in the past and take the fish out in the winter, but these past couple of years they haven't done that. Also, look at this Loquat tree. Loads of these are planted around the compound as well. People don't pick the pomegranates, but they definitely pick these for sure. The fruit has a subtle and sweet taste. The flesh is soft, with the skin being slightly hairy, but doesn't sting like a kiwi fruit. We have come full circle, and what I have learned is that life really is full of opportunities and adventures, and that your life can take off in ways you could never imagine. But for that to happen, you need to decide when you are going to make things happen. The power of our thoughts and the intention we put behind our actions is so important that it can literally change your life. It changed mine. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you on the next one.